Hi, everyone. Welcome to Weekly Affirmations for Creatives, week 29. My name is Michelle Tracy Berger, and I am so happy to have you with me for this week's affirmation. Every week, I have been offering a new affirmation to help us practice aware and engaged self-talk as creatives. So most of you have probably heard the statistic before. We, on average, tend to think about 60 to 80,000 thoughts. And when we think about or we become aware of the direction that some of those thoughts are going in, especially for a creative life, the more aware we can be, the more we can fine tune the thoughts that really serve us, that keep us motivated, that keep us engaged for pursuing a creative life. Let's get into this week's affirmation. Super excited about it. My creative output is unstoppable. My creative output is unstoppable. My creative output is unstoppable. I remember Joanna Penn, who is a wonderful writer, and she runs an amazing podcast called the Creative Penn Podcast, and that is Penn with two N's. And this podcast is about writing. It's also about the creative life. It's fantastic, and it's been around for a long time. And years ago, I remember her saying something like the only thing that creatives can control and that she as a creative could control is what she produced. And she talked a lot about, not just consuming things, but taking in information and producing. And that's what a creative life is that you produce. And I think that this affirmation really encourages us to embrace that. We cannot control the market that we find ourselves in, so to speak. We cannot control many things in our life, but we can control the work that we produce and producing it in a regular way, in a consistent way, in a way that we find pleasurable. So this affirmation, my creative output is unstoppable, one affirms you have output, right? And that's important. And that you have the capacity to keep producing it. And it is engaging. It's sort of a fire in the belly kind of affirmation, right? When you're saying my creative output is unstoppable, you are declaring that you have stamina, you have motivation, you have commitment, and that you can produce wonderful things in the world. This can be such a powerful affirmation for you if you work with it. I mean, imagine going to the mirror, saying that to yourself every day and saying it 10 times a day in the mirror or writing it 10 to 20 times. You will feel the truth of that your creative output really is unstoppable, and it will encourage you to act that way. So it's affirmations work on many levels. They work on our belief systems, they work at the subconscious level, they work to inspire us to take action. They can be pattern interrupters. So if you think that you have been lazy, or someone called you that, and a terrible thing, right? We say terrible things to ourselves, and sometimes people say really inappropriate things to us. Affirmations can be a pattern interrupter. That's what Denise Duffield Thomas, another person I've mentioned who's also a writer and a podcaster, has said, and I love that. So I love that idea of affirmations as pattern interrupters for things that we say to ourselves. Every writing workshop that I give, at the end of the writing workshop, I will have the Ray Bradbury quote on there, which is, you fail only if you stop writing. A very famous quote. You fail only if you stop writing. So remember that. Remember that there's no failing in a creative life unless we stop. And work with this affirmation. My creative output is unstoppable. See how that feels for you, how that lands for you. See what a week of using that language for yourself, and you will see it, right? So it doesn't, that affirmation does not mean that every piece of writing that you produce, every painting that you produce is sold, right? Or um, is in the marketplace. So we're not necessarily talking about that piece of it. We're talking about the fire, the drive to keep us working and to keep our work moving forward. So that's the unstoppable part. That despite hurdles, despite challenges, despite the things that we face, that we keep going in the face of that. That's what this affirmation gives us, that kind of persistence. If you have found this video helpful or interesting, please give it a like. That always helps the algorithms. And obviously, love for you to subscribe to the channel. This channel has many, many resources for you, both in terms of affirmations, but also along some other passions of mine that I like to talk about, which is the relationship between creative work and decluttering. I have a whole playlist on those videos, as well as other videos about the creative life. Until next time, stay inspired, and I'll see you soon.